The story begins with Kaito's solitary routine in the town. He spends most of his days at the local library listening to books on tape or talking to Junichi about his dreams of seeing the world. One day while walking home through the park, Kaito hears a voice unlike any he's heard before. It's soft, yet there's a strange urgency in the tone, as if the voice is reaching out to him from a distant place. He learns that the voice belongs to Miyu Takahashi, a girl who seems oddly familiar, though he has never met her before. Miyu begins describing the world to him in such vivid detail that Kaito feels as if he can see through her words. Her descriptions aren't just ordinary descriptions. They carry an emotional weight that makes Kaito feel as though he's experiencing the world anew. She tells him, "You are my eyes," and Kaito, while initially confused, begins to look forward to their daily meetings. Kaito begins to trust Miyu, and she becomes a constant in his life. Every day she describes something new to him, whether it's the colors of a sunset, the faces of people passing by, or the scenery they visit together. Through her, Kaito feels the world around him even though he cannot see it. Over time he begins to sense that Miyu's descriptions are not simply for his benefit. They're also a way for her to relive and communicate her own experiences. Kaito's bond with Miyu deepens and he becomes enamored by her warmth, her words, and the way she makes him feel as though he's not blind, he is alive. They share a connection that feels almost supernatural, as if she is guiding him through a world that he could never have accessed otherwise. He begins to rely on her more, and in return she seems to depend on him, saying that through him she can see the world as well. However, the more time they spend together, the more Kaito notices strange things about Miyu. For one, she never lets him touch her face, always guiding his hands away when he tries. Miyu also avoids talking about her past or the places she's been. There are holes in her stories, moments when her voice seems to waver, as though she's hiding something. Kaito becomes increasingly curious, even obsessed with learning more about her. One day, after a particularly emotional conversation where Miyu describes a beautiful garden, Kaito decides to take a bold step. He follows the sound of her voice to the park where they usually meet. When he arrives, there's no sign of her. Panicked, he asks people nearby if they've seen her, but no one has. It's as if she vanished. The following days are agonizing for Kaito. Miyu is nowhere to be found and he becomes obsessed with finding her again. Desperately, he begins to re-examine all the details she's shared with him, looking for clues that might lead him to her. He revisits all the places she had described in vivid detail, but everything feels different now. As he retraces her steps, he begins to feel as if something is shifting around him, as though the world is slipping through his fingers. In the end, Kaito discovers the truth in a library book that Miyu had once described to him. A book on spiritual phenomena. The book details a phenomenon where individuals who are deeply connected to the unseen world, through heightened senses or other abilities, can sometimes interact with spirits, though these spirits often leave behind no trace once they have fulfilled their purpose. Miyu, it turns out, was not a normal girl. She was a spirit, someone who had died long ago, and her connection with Kaito was not random. She had chosen him to see for her, to help her understand the world she could no longer be part of. As the realization hits Kaito, he remembers the moment she had told him, "You are my eyes, but I was the one who couldn't see." The words suddenly take on a deeper meaning. She had given him sight in exchange for her ability to perceive the world, a gift she could no longer experience for herself. In a bittersweet conclusion, Kaito realizes that Miyu's time with him was finite. Her purpose had been to guide him through a transformation, helping him to break free of his isolation, to find meaning in a world he could never see. But now her journey was complete. She tells him through the echoes of the world he hears that she will move on. Though she is gone, she leaves behind the lessons she imparted to him, the importance of connecting with others, of seeing with more than just your eyes. In the final scene, Kaito stands in the park where they last met, surrounded by the same world Miyu once described to him. Though he is still blind, he now sees the world in a way he never did before. He understands the beauty, the complexity, and the depth of life not through sight but through perception, through the eyes of his heart and the memories of someone who once guided him.